ANC Provincial Secretary in Gauteng, Thembinkosi Nciza, has confirmed the party is working with all parties, including the MK party. The Government of Provincial Unity has helped Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi retain his position for another 5 years. This after all the parties failed to get an outright majority in Gauteng in the recent national and provincial elections. While the Government of Provincial Unity is good news for the province, it might spell trouble for the municipalities. This after EFF Provincial Chairperson Nkululeko Dunga was relieved of his duties as Finance MMC in the city of Ekurhuleni. Our reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa has the story.
Panyaza Lesufi has gotten the green light for a second term. He was elected unopposed inside the Gauteng legislature, and what was quite interesting is that his nomination came from the ANC bench but was seconded by the DA bench. Quite an interesting development, speaking to something that the president has spoken of, which is the Government of National Unity. And in his acceptance speech, this is Panyaza Lesufi speaking at the provincial legislature. He also referred to the Government of Provincial Unity. I'm joined by the provincial secretary right now to speak to us about the journey that it's taken to get this far. Obviously, the ANC has been playing its cards very close to their chest with regards to who exactly they'll be working with, discussions happening at NEC level. You, as someone who sits on the Provincial Executive Committee, what were the arrangements that you were able to make thus far, and are you able to share them at all right now?
Look, it has not been an easy journey, I must say. Negotiations in their nature are not easy. The people of South Africa and the people of Gauteng took a decision that there will not be a party which is a majority party. That's the first issue. The decision of the voters must be respected. Coalitions don't start in South Africa. Coalitions are in many countries, especially where there's democracy. You go to Switzerland and many other countries, you find coalitions. The good part is that we had been doing a lot of study around the issue of coalitions, and we then understand what are the principles around coalitions, including how you handle yourself when you deal with issues of negotiations in terms of coalitions themselves. Arrogancy does not work. Secondly, you must never be a triumphalist when you're in coalitions. But thirdly, you must always be futuristic. So those three key areas are very important. So when we started engaging all parties, it's not like we were doing a fashion parade. That's what the National Executive Committee of the ANC would have said. Go and engage all parties, which we agree with. And we did that very well, except two parties would have said, we're not interested, and the reality is that we need not to see what is happening or what has been happening in local government, where there's just a motion of no confidence. There's just a commotion, and service delivery suffers in the process.
I'm glad that you've touched on local government, because that was going to be my second question. We have seen some demands, like the certain portfolios in Ekurhuleni. We heard the president of the EFF calling on the mayor of Ekurhuleni to reinstate the MMC for finance. And obviously this must have been a demand that was made in order to reach these agreements. You know, what's going to happen to those relationships that were built so far following the outcome of these elections?
I firstly don't believe in engaging my partners in the media. So if there was an issue of Ekurhuleni, or there is an issue on Ekurhuleni, we must engage with the economic freedom fighters without us responding to what is his demand to national. Because you are speaking to the president of the ANC. I'm not. I'm the secretary of Gauteng. So we will deal with those issues at the right time. And I don't believe I must sit here and be addressing the president of EFF on his demands, because he never demanded those issues to us. He raised his concerns, and we said we'll engage on those matters, including what our comrades are raising in Ekurhuleni, because they are not fighting EFF or all those issues. They are raising an issue about, one, specific MMC in terms of performance.
The threat that has been made by the EFF president is that he will instruct MMCs in the different metros, EFF MMCs, to resign because they are not desperate for positions. Could this see another collapse or another dispute or more chaos erupting at municipal level, which would then require maybe the parties to go back to the negotiation table?
That's his decision, really. That's his decision of his party. I mean, I would not. I would always encourage those who are getting into coalitions to be patient with one another, and don't take irrational decisions on the basis of anger or whatever the case may be. But it's his decision. If he takes that decision, who am I to agree or disagree with him? We'll crash the bridge when we get there as the African National Congress. But we believe that we need to service our people, and that's what we should focus on. We don't believe in sectors. We don't believe that municipalities must be destabilized. We don't believe that's why we are even opting for this Government of Provincial Unity. And you can see we're even supported by Umkhonto in Gauteng.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is the Provincial Secretary speaking to us about all things provincial government as well as local governments, and also responding to some of the comments that have been made by EFF.